Hey guys, welcome back to Start Young, and it's Uma here again, and I brought it back to talk about mindfulness. So this is a part of our series around mindfulness, and it's really important so that we could raise happy and successful kids. But today, one of the most difficult things I know as parents is having that need to control. So I was a single mum. I've had 18 years of experience in parenting now, and I have kind of fluked it the first time where I kind of didn't really control because I was just too carefree about life. And my son ended up turning up really amazing. Like, he's so independent and all that. And so I kind of got to witness the benefit of not really controlling. But I know now that I have two young kids, I want to control a bit more, but I'm aware and I try not to control. And I know many parents have this problem where they feel like I know the best for the kids and I want to control it. I need the outcome to be. And I was the kid of my parents who were like that. They were so controlling, like next level kind of control. And so let's deep dive into how can we stop controlling, because it's good for ourselves as well as our kids.
This is the biggest problem we have, is to letting go of control. Let's first look at why we control. What is control and why we control? So control is literally poking our head into everything that the kids do and determining the outcome for them. Now, where is this control coming from? Control is coming from fear and desire. What's the fear? Everything that we fear about that should not happen for the kid, and that's happened to us as a kid. So we carry that baggage of fear and we just position it on our kids, making sure that every outcome is determined for them, right? Second thing is desire. So many things that we've desired that we couldn't achieve as a kid, now put it on them, and then that's the desire. This is why we control. The third thing, the reason why we control, is because we want to have some certainty. We want to be sure that they're safe. Of course, there's nothing wrong.
To make ourselves feel good, really.
Yeah, exactly. Make us feel good that, oh, we've done our job, but actually we are not doing our job. We're damaging the kid, right? So we want to make sure that we let go of control. And letting go of control doesn't mean that being irresponsible. There is a boundary where you draw in terms of letting go of control and letting them be, right? Otherwise, what we do is completely take over, hijack their life. And they have no control over their life, and they grow up as kids with no confidence, no self-esteem, so no self-worth, because we are constantly on top of them. And this is so much pressure. And we don't realize it. We think this is a form of love. And I understand, even growing up, I've realized that my parents were controlling because they thought that was the good thing for me.
Yeah, that's them showing love and protecting you.
What do? We become rebellious.
Yes.
Because we think that, oh, you're not letting me have my
way. And sometimes it doesn't make sense to you. You can't listen to them because it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And what is more important now, our generation was different, but now this generation is totally different. Now, with my research, I've seen that with Millenials, their mindset is totally different, okay? The way they approach things, their sleeping cycles are different, right? They sleep they're awake in the night and they,
sleep late. Yeah.
Exactly. And then they do things differently. And, everything they question you, every single thing. So you need to have the patience to explain to them. So don't keep going on that control activity. I remember someone said, what if you let go of control? And I did that with my son. And when I let control, he started to get more closer with me because he didn't like the way that I was controlling the outcome of his life. And I realized that we are different human beings. I'm different. I'm extrovert. My kid is introvert. I would never want to control him to become, earlier if I had, 10 years back, I'd be like, no, you need to be this. I'm like, be your own self.
Yeah, that's right. So I feel like my parents being Vietnamese and the way they were thinking, it's as if I own you. Like, you are my kid and I gave birth to you and you listen to me because I own you. And somehow it's like I'm a little subset of them. Yeah. But the way I see my kids are like a different entity, and they're kind of different mindset. It's like my friend. Yes. And I want to guide you and coach you along the way, but I'm going to allow you to make your own decision. If it means choosing what you want to wear, fine. I don't really like that, but if you want to wear it, wear that. Sometimes I would have to watch my own daughter make a mistake. It's like, no, mum, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I'm just letting you know that. And when it was wrong, she knows, she acknowledged it, and at least she didn't feel like I forced her to do something.
Exactly. I absolutely love what Lynn said. The reason is because when you let them to do, allow them to fail. Let them fail fast and let them fail earlier, rather than not allowing them to fail and succeed in their childhood. And you're not going to be there when they're 30. You're going to be there, but you can't control their life when they're in 20s or 30s. And at that time, if they failed, it's going to be even more harder for them to reclaim their life. It's really hard. So please let go of the need to control. And as Lynn said, let them fail, few little things, give them their way. And what happens is when you give them their way in small little things, food, clothing, they allow you to make their decisions for bigger things.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, my mom gives me, permission to do my things. It's okay to listen to her now and then. So that's how you can negotiate with your kids. So let's see, how can you let go of control? Letting go of control comes down to the fact that, first of all, being non-judgmental and accepting. So what does that look like? So when the kids are doing something, you don't want to judge them. You want to have open curiosity. So when they come and tell you something like, I did this or I did that, you just want to say, wow, I'm more curious to know, why did you do that? Rather than saying, you shouldn't have done it. Now, this is what happens. When you say you shouldn't have done it, it goes from here to here. It doesn't go here. So what they do is delete, generalize, distort. They just generalize it. Mom always says like that. Delete it. Oh, what she says is not right, or he says is not right. So you want to move from, that's why coaching is so powerful. It's all about questioning. Parents should become coaches and guide. And
so you want to understand how they got to making that
Exactly.
decision. Same as if you were running a business, actually. My operations manager's taught me a lot. And he's really about wanting to know if a mistakes happen, like how did you get there? It's just so that you can understand their mindset, and maybe it's the way you gave the instructions, or they weren't clear. It might not just be them, it's actually the systems or you.
You've got a
really good answer. Love you, Richard.
Yes, absolutely. Love you, Richard. Yes. So what a wonderful way to think. Just imagine if every one of us could get so curious and ask, wow, that's interesting. Why did you think that way? Why did you do that? And also to tell them, I'm not asking you why because I'm judgmental. I'm very curious. I'd love to know. And in doing that, you understand their strategy. And they answering it, they are shifting from their memory brain to the
and maybe they don't know why they did something. It's kind of automated.
And then like, wow, no, I shouldn't have done it. I think I was so, it's a weird thing. I just did it. I didn't think about it. Now you give them an opportunity to review and reflect and refocus on how they need to be doing things. So that is the first thing, that is being non-judgmental. Second is just accepting. Accept them for who they are. They're just beautiful. We aren't perfect. Lynn, you and I, we know. We've invested so much in our personal development journey. Are we perfect? No. Can we get perfect? Yes. There's always more scope. We can become better. But if I said I'm perfect now, there's no way to grow. And if I'm constantly sitting and worrying that I'm not imperfect, I'll never grow. So it's just knowing that we are imperfect, we are learning, and we'll keep growing. And the same attitude with our kids. Coming to the point of accept your kid wherever you are. But I'd love for you to be here. And then this is how we can get to there.
Yeah. So just an example, like when I moved to Sydney for my husband, and I gave that choice. Well, I asked my son, do you want to come? Instead of going, you have to come now that this mum's going, I said, would you like to come to Sydney? And he said no. And his reasons were, he wanted to be with his friends and blah, blah. And because he didn't want to go, his dad also didn't want him to go. And everything was just, it is just what it is. And I accepted that. And I just chose to, I accept the decision. And it ended up being the best decision because it was something that made him happy and he grew up really happy. And I still have to practice that till now because it's so much more convenient when he actually comes and visits us in Sydney because it's just him. But there's a lot of times that he just cannot be bothered flying here. He said, you come here. As much as I want to fight against it and go, tell him off and say, why can't you go? I just go, I negotiate. I'm like, okay, how about this time I'll come down. When you do come up next time, can you stay a little bit longer? So he always feels like he's being heard, that he gets his way. But then because he's getting his way, he's happy to also give you your way.
Wonderful. Yeah. I love it. I love that negotiation. And what I see you're doing is you're treating him like another colleague or treating him like someone that you work with. That's what we want to treat them as. Not just as kids, but equals to us, where you can negotiate with them. And also coming from a place of compassion. That's a very big one. Compassionate for that. And
yes.
Talking about
I got to talk another example of this. So right now I noticed in the last year or so, he's grown up, he's 18, and he used to write me kind of long messages for Mother's Day or birthday, whatever it is. He was expressive because he's young and he's like affectionate. But as he grows older, it's getting less. It's like, I love you, Mum, happy birthday, or something very short. And I caught myself hurt a little bit. But then I would, once again, mindfulness helps and kind of being aware and go, he doesn't love me less. He's just growing up. And he, it's nothing that he's shown that he doesn't love me apart from some words. And so I'm just able to accept and be compassionate more about his age. Or even when we're saying goodbye on the phone, If I say, I love you, he'll say, I love you too, right? Because it's just a natural thing he would say when he was younger. But nowadays, he's older, he just feels awkward. But his actions means love. Like when you call him, he's listening to you, he's talking to you for ages, and he's so good to his siblings and me. And so as parents, if we're not careful, we kind of just get so sensitive about everything.
Exactly.
And then we might go like, do you love me? What do you? And then it just creates more drama, because I've witnessed things like this happen to other family where it's like, I don't feel like they love me because they don't say this or they don't do that. But it's just being a little bit more in tune with their age and where they grow, how they're growing up right now.
That's an important point, to know that in every phase of their life they're going to be different. In fact, exactly, I've got a 20-year-old and he comes and says, Mom, I just feel that I'm not giving you love as much as I used to. And I'm like, no. I said, no, Mom, I used to buy you that, I used to write letters for you, but I don't do that anymore.
So he's aware.
And he says, do you feel bad about it? I said, no, darling, I don't feel bad about it. You're growing. He said, yeah, Mom, I've got friends now and my lifestyle is a bit different, but it doesn't mean that I love you any lesser. And I'm like, thank you for saying that. So I think that's what really matters, and that is that compassion. You're very compassionate. And for most people who don't understand compassion, let me just give, because people can often confuse compassion with empathy and sympathy, right? So sympathy is where you feel sorry for somebody. Oh, that's happened. I'm really sorry for that. That's it. And empathy is where you feel sorry for them and you put yourself in the same position as them, and both of you are suffering. Compassion is where you see someone is suffering and you lift them from the suffering, elevate the suffering. That is compassion. So we don't want to be sympathetic or empathetic. Empathy is a part of compassion, but compassion is the next level where you elevate the problem for them. Okay? So with compassion, you become so wonderful for them because they feel you're approachable. Mom is approachable, dad is approachable. So they will get connected, more connected with you. All we are seeking is connection, right? Relationships are all about connection. And when you said about writing letters and exchanging gifts, it's all about coming back to the love language, which might be an episode on its own.
Yes.
Maybe you all should watch out for the love language episode. We can talk about why that is important, because everybody's way of expressing love is different. We'll talk more about it in the next
episode. So sum it up, in order to be more mindful and non-judgmental and acceptance and a passion helps us to not try to control, because when we can do all that, we don't need to be in control. I just kind of feel like it kind of serves that purpose. Thank you so much for watching. Love to hear in the comments below, which out of those things are you going to practice? Is it compassion or acceptance or judgmental? But yeah, otherwise we'll see you in the next episode to help you to raise happy and successful kids.
Thank you.